Hi guys, so for writing today, your learning target is I can collect ideas for writing by creating stories or creating characters that I wish existed, okay? So in order to do that, you must first ask yourself, what stories do you wish existed? So when I ask myself this question, I often want stories that I could connect to. I want stories that where the character is somehow similar to me, or a problem is something similar to something I faced, or maybe something that I'm interested in, okay? So in order to create these stories that you wish existed, you need to ask yourself, what stories do I wish existed? And by using that question, I'm going to be able to invent a character, their traits, their struggles, their actions, okay? And now I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to go to my writer's journal, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you one more time. I'm going to go to my writer's journal real quick. And you will go to Docs and you will continue in your same writer's journal as before. I'm on my laptop, but you're on your iPad. Okay. I'm going to find the one that says Reinheim or Miss R's Writer's Journal. Found it. Okay. Now, I am going to go in and I'm going to add the date because that's important. My teacher needs to know what day I'm doing what. Okay. And so today I need to ask myself, what stories do I wish existed? Okay. I'm going to write that in just to keep myself focused. And then I'm going to hit enter so that way it's not in my writing, I don't get confused, but that question is going to help guide me on my writing today, okay? So I'm going to use that question. What stories do I wish existed? I'm going to want stories that connect to me somehow. So maybe I'm really into soccer. So maybe I wish there was a story about a young boy, I'm pretending I'm a boy in this case, or a young girl, girls can like soccer too, that really struggles with soccer and then becomes an amazing athlete, an amazing soccer player later on. So I'm going to think. Now, I already said soccer, so I think I'm going to stick with soccer. That seems like a good idea. I have never been very good at sports, right? So I might decide to create a story about somebody else who's not really good at sports either, okay? So I already have an idea about a story that I wish existed. Now I also have two older brothers, John and Seth. So maybe I wish there was a story about a girl who had two older brothers and just her struggles with dealing with them, right? I think I'm gonna pick the sports one, okay? So I've thought about what I want. That was part of this, okay? Sit and think about what kinds of stories you wish existed. So I can take like 5 to 10 minutes to do that, figure out what stories I wish existed. And they're going to be stories that I have something in common with or something that I can connect to. Because oftentimes those are the stories we want. Unless you're one of those kids who really likes like dragons, then you can create a story about that. That's fine. It's a story that you wish existed, right? So you can get as crazy as you want. It doesn't necessarily have to connect to your real life this time, but you should have some connection with it. So if I'm creating this really cool story about dragons, it's probably because I like dragons, right? Anyways, I'm going to focus now, okay? So I want to do the sports story. So I'm going to think, okay, what do I want my main character to be like? And what do I want her to go through? So I'm going to make her a girl because I'm a girl, so it's easiest for me to write about a girl. And if you're a boy, you can choose to write about a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to stick with a girl. So what traits and struggles and actions do I want her to go through? So I'm going to start thinking. I wish there was a story. Now this is just going to help me get started, okay? Eventually I can go in and change it to actually make the story, but this is just to help me get started. started. I wish there was a story about a girl who was very bad at sports. Like would trip over her own shoes in gym. She was very uncoordinated. Again, we're not going to worry about spelling. I'm sure that's spelled wrong. She's very uncoordinated. What else? Okay, so that's the very, very basics. What do I want her to be like? I kind of wish she was stubborn. Main character, or you could just say character, you could say person. Be stubborn, like me. So I'm gonna keep thinking about what I want in this story. In this story, I want her made fun of. So this is what I want in the story. Made fun of because she is so bad at sport. She gets really mad. Really mad and storms up. She becomes determined to prove everyone wrong. She sees a flyer for the swim team. I'm adding the swim team because I love swimming. Again, that's another connection that I have with the story that I wish existed. And oftentimes we do have lots of connections with these stories that we wish existed. So she sees a flyer for the swim team. She decides she's not very good at swimming either, but she doesn't die. I'm going to put drown. I'm going to change it to drown, but she doesn't drown. She somehow gets picked and joins the swim team. I'm going to end this real quick for you guys. In the end, she improves so much. She becomes one of the top swimmers, okay? So what did I do in order to get my nice little paragraph written? Well, I asked myself, I did my learning target. I asked myself, what stories do I wish existed? And then I picked an idea after I thought about it for a couple minutes. And then once I picked my idea, I just started writing what I want to happen in the story. And I could write what I want her to look like. I could write what I want her to act like. It's up to you. It's the story that you want, okay? So again, you could create this whole story about dragons and magic and all this cool stuff, or you could stick to something that's maybe a little more realistic like I did. All that matters is that you asked yourself, what stories do you wish existed? And then you started writing about the story that you wish to exist. Eventually, you might be able to go back, choose the story, and change it up and actually make the story that you wish to exist. But today, I just want you to tell me about the story that you wished existed, okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Mr. Davison, and we would be more than happy to help you.